hate explaining this. I hate this. You should have looked it up. Oh well. Listen. Some vocabulary. You have the buff, you pick up the buff at buff circle, you swap the buff at buff station, you shoot with buff, you shoot with non-buff, you punch with buff, you punch with non-buff. Everything about the buff, you say buff. Floating white crystals are crystals. Grounded fat crystals are buff. Big boy is the deception on the ground trying to slice you. Bigger boy is the actual boss man you need to kill later. There are also knights and wizards and ogres, but they already have names, you knew them already. Big boy, bigger boy. Understand? Great. The third encounter of Galhran's deception is done like this. Your clan might do it differently, but if they're so great you wouldn't need this explained. The area is divided into 3 corners. Sun, where the sunlight is actually shining through. Dog, which is clockwise from sun with dog statues in the background. And Void, because of the space cocaine. These corners will be closed off from one another when the encounter starts. Divide into 3 teams of 2. That's it, that's the gimmick of the raid. And choose a corner. Note from any given corner, if you stand in the center and look outside the arena, your team's buff will be to your right. Sun corner, sun buff. Dog corner, dog buff. Void corner, void buff. Everything is clockwise. Everybody take high ground, like the floor is lava. The encounter will start when somebody punches any big boy. After the encounter starts, you want to check if your personal big boy disappeared. If he didn't, get back on high ground. If he is gone, check the center of the arena for a buff circle in your corner. Have only one person grab the buff. At this point, each team is named. No, I don't care if you don't do this way, this is my video. Team Big Boy has the big boy, and is primarily concerned with staying alive. Clockwise from them is Team Witch, who get the buff first. Clockwise from them is Team Nothing, who has to wait to be important. It will always be random who becomes Team Big Boy, but the order is always the same. Everything is clockwise. Team Big Boy and Team Nothing will both have adds, wizards, and ogres to slay in order to stay alive. Take high ground to stay alive better, especially against giant swords. Team Witch will also have adds, wizards, and ogres, but only the person with the buff can damage the ogres, and only the non-buff person can damage the wizards, with the adds split in half. Each corner will have 2 wizards, one at a time, then the ogre. After all the ogres are slain, a buff will spawn at Team Witch's buff station. Both members of Team Witch will get inside the buff station, one member of Team Nothing will get inside the buff station, and everybody will shoot the buff. You now have 2 buffs. Great, you learned how to proliferate buffs. Very important. The walls between Team Witch and Team Nothing will come down, and everyone does everything again. After you do everything again, a buff will spawn at Team Nothing's buff station. Everybody gets inside the buff station, everybody. Everybody shoots it, and now there are 4 buffs. Now, listen. To take down the boss's shield, you need 1 buffed and 1 non-buffed person to punch him at the same time. When his shield goes down, everything in punching distance of him loses their buff. His shield will be down for about 10 seconds or so, and will come back up. You can break his shield as many times as you have a buff to spare. This is counterclockwise. Team Nothing together will punch first. One of them will be buffed, one of them will be not buffed, so Team Nothing will punch first. Remember who was not buffed at this time. Everybody else, stand back. His shield goes down, everyone that's non-buffed can do damage. When his shield goes back up, Team Witch together will punch second. One of them will be buffed, and one of them will be not buffed. Shield comes down, and then do damage. At this point, Team Big Boy should both be buffed. One of them goes to punch the shield, and one person from Team Nothing, who was not buffed at the beginning, will also go to punch the shield. His shield goes down, do damage. Then, the last person from Team Big Boy will go to punch the shield, and the same person from the very beginning, the first punch, will punch the shield again. Shield goes down, do damage. After all the buffs are spent and damage is done, if the boss still has health, everybody go back to your corners. Now do everything again. Team Nothing slays wizards and ogres while they wait for the buff to do what Team Witch does in the next round. Team Witch slays wizards and ogres while balancing the buff to pass to Team Nothing. Team Big Boy slays wizards and ogres while trying to stay alive. Team Nothing will together be the first punch, and the non-buffed player will punch for Team Big Boy. Team Witch will be the second punch. Team Big Boy will be both buffed during damage and will be the third and fourth punch. Fuck.